here today at Centerpoint Pizza, right on 533 Walter Road East. And I'm here with the main man, Jeremy, who's the owner. So Jeremy, thank you very much for doing this. Really nice to see you.
No worries.
And mate, it's a fantastic place. I walked in, I had a couple of pizzas here before, and I had the jumbo pan. It was a half and half.
Yeah.
Mate, that was epic. So tell me all about how you guys started. What's your background? How did it all start for you?
Basically, this was my second job while I was doing an apprenticeship in heavy-duty mechanics. So yeah, it's just that didn't pay well enough. So I started off as a pizza delivery driver. Would you believe? 20 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So learned the ropes. Learned how to spin a pizza, and yeah, basically got to a point where it was either go up north and work or stay local. So I thought I'd buy the pizza shop that I used to work in.
Yeah.
So yeah, no looking back. I've had it now for about 15 years. So yeah, it's good.
And then where you started, I mean, you mentioned that this is a new location. You moved here not very long ago.
So we started back, I don't know if you know the Kiara Food Court.
Yeah.
The service station there where the IGA was.
Okay.
We started in a pokey little store in there. It was probably 70 square metres in there. Made it easy because rent was cheap and it was easy to make a living. And then we got thrown out of there because the IGA moved in.
Yeah.
So we had to find somewhere else, which is, it's one of those things. It's forced evolution on us, I guess. So we ended up across opposite Charlie's, down here where the BP servo was.
Yeah.
And we're there for about 7 years. And once again, forced evolution. They knocked that building down and chucked a BP in there, and we ended up here, which, realistically, it's no looking back. It's always been a forward mover for us. We've never really gone backwards into a smaller store or something worse. So yeah.
So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Pretty much, mate. Yeah, that's look. It's kind of taught me to not be scared of change. Yeah. So it's hard when you've got an established business in a long-standing building to kind of go, oh no, I have to move. You have to find somewhere to go. But I didn't have a choice. I was like, just do it, find somewhere, let's go. Yeah,
we'll get across the bridge when we get there.
Pretty much, yeah. That's why we're here.
And tell us about what's your best seller? What do you guys do? Yeah, what sells?
To be honest with you, people love a bargain. So our two large deals are always the go-to.
Yeah.
Pizzas, wide varied, but I've always said that each culture has its own take on certain things, and pizza's definitely one of those things that's taken on its own kind of style, maybe even to Western Australia, because I can't say I've eaten a lot of East Coast pizza, but we like a lot of toppings. Okay. So works, our Dom special, our Centerpoint special, everything with a bit of meat, a bit of veggies, a bit of everything on it. That seems to be what the big sellers are. But then you got the kids always love that ham and pineapples, or the meats barbecue. Yeah. But
so what's your take on pineapples on pizza then?
In the right place, for sure. Yeah. Definitely, yeah. Look, if you look at my social media, I always use it as a bit of a sore point, and it separates people, and it creates a bit of a talking point. Yeah. So I like a bit of, I don't know, like throwing a spanner in the works every now and then, just so get people talking. So controversy. For sure, yeah. But no, I reckon pineapple, especially in the works, goes well on the pizza.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you guys have this thing, you do ribs as well. A different name, you've got a...
Yeah, so...
What's that about?
Well, I've been doing, as I've just said, I've been doing pizzas for 20 years. Yeah. You tend to get a little bit bored with your job after a while. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I've become disinterested and I don't enjoy doing the pizzas, but I needed something. I'm a pretty active person, so I needed something to tie me over, so I didn't start looking for other things to do. And been doing American barbecue stuff for a while, and we actually kicked the whole thing off. We had a big event down at the other place. It was like a bit of a car park thing, and that kicked the whole thing off. It was that busy that it scared me, and we didn't touch it again for probably 10 months. Yeah. 10 months to a year, I didn't do it again, but showed promise. Yeah. Once I'd recovered and got my head straight, we jumped back into it, at which point there was maybe another 3 American barbecue places had opened in Perth, which I kind of regret. I hadn't kind of stuck with it from the get-go because we would have been one of the kind of originators. But that store down there, we had literally 3 tiny little tables, nowhere to sit. We pushed the takeaway, we pushed the deliveries, and it kind of really didn't do anything until we moved in here. And that's when plenty of seating, you know, it just kind of, I mean, it's not my final location. I'm more about spending money on the products rather than the decor. So everything's done, you know,
I like that. Yeah.
Nice and cheap and cheerful, and it's effective.
You put money where it really matters.
Oh, look, mate, if I'm making $1 million, then, you know, I could build something like some of these big boys build out in the birds, you know, but around the city and that. But, you know, for me, it's, you know, as the business grows, there's a bit more money. We move into a better location, spend a little bit on the fit out, but just make sure the products nick them out, which is what I've always been about. You know, that's why we've been here so long.
It's brilliant. That's a good story to share as well.
Yep.
I mean, we had a chat earlier about community and everything, and what really got me, and it was a touch of my heart as well. You focus on community. You put in your community clients and customers first before, and tell us more about that. How do you see that as well?
Look, at the end of the day, your locals are the ones that are nearby. So if you make a face and a presence locally, then you're going to be more recognisable to customers who are more likely to spend more time here. There's no point in me pushing my business 20 kilometres away, because that's not so much of an impulse for them to come here. You know, they have to actually make the trek, which I try and make a product that does draw the people. But at the end of the day, we are more your kind of daily pizza shop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People will eat us once or twice a week, rather than being like we're going out for dinner. So, you know, if I can create it works both ways. We sponsor a lot of sports clubs nearby, and 90% of all of our staff are locals, and just, yeah. So it works for your business as well as for the community, so try and go both ways.
I think for a local business, you've set the example at the bar as well, because I ordered a pizza online, and it led me to downloading an app and things like that. I mean, you guys are really killing it in that area. And, you know, Jeremy, maybe you can, one last thing before we end this, share the Morley residents on, you know, where you guys are and how they can best order the next best pizza experience in Morley, because you guys are a local pizza joint.
Yeah.
So share with them how they can make their orders, what's the best way to reach out to you, what's the best place to find out more about what you guys do.
I mean, the best way to communicate with us is, it's hard when it's busy. Come in, have a chat. That's the best way. I mean, we're all pretty friendly down here. Most of us, anyway. But we try and cover all our bases when it comes to ordering. So we've recently moved into the Uber front, which, you know, as much as I struggle with that in regards to money going offshore, you are also supporting people living locally as well as delivery drivers. But we've all got all our own local delivery drivers, so, you know, order online, phone in. There's a myriad of different ways. If you just Google Centrepoint Pizzas Morley, it just depends on how you want to go.
Perfect. Jeremy, thank you very much, sir.
Cheers,
thank you very much.
Thanks,
Morley, so if you want to have your next best pizza experience, go local, right here in 533 Walter Road East. It's hard to miss this joint, so come in, good places in, sit down and have a little family get together as well. So until next time, this is Mr. 6062 signing out. Catch you guys soon.